There. My ult's not ready.
Shadows traveling.
Bomb buddy out. Where are you? Gotta go!
30 seconds left.
Poison ore emitting.
Spike down, C. Ten seconds left.
Spike planted.
Last player standing.
Bring them down. They're blind with fear. There.
Flash placed. What? Not ready yet.
Take this! This way!
Spike planted.
Cover going out.
Shortcut! Gotta go! Go, go!
One enemy
I'm out
remaining.
of here. My ult's ready. Ugh. Take hold.
Toxin screen down.
Thirty seconds left.
Over there.
No fuel. Poison orb emitting. Poison's on.
Spike down. C. 10 seconds left. Spike planted.
There. Go, go, go!
Last player standing.
İyi geceler.
I'll find you. Where are you?
Rip and tear. Thorns activated.
Blinded.
One enemy remaining.
My territory, my rules! Nothing there.
One enemy remaining.
Coming through! I'm out of here!
Ultimate is ready.
Spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
Gotta go.
Stealing sight. Shadows traveling.
Last player standing.
No more. No.
Alrighty. We have casters now.
Cover going out.
Blue off.
Poison orb emitting.
Come up right behind. Over towards C, but
30
Poison's
seconds
off.
left.
Fire's lurked up all the way over towards B. And the Omen has lurked up towards A. Face checking with Jug. And doesn't end up losing that fight.
Poison orb emitting.
So that's
Blocking movement.
hey, the spike is going over towards B.
10 seconds left.
Gizmo's left too, which means that
Listening.
there's no resistance to the spike plant. Gizmo rips the ult over towards A, assuming that the plant was coming out over there, but no. Hey! Gizmo whiffs the rocket. Stuck by the wall, so he has to back up now.
Bring them down. Or die!
But the Steel Garden comes in, and forces Storm all the way back, only one person managing to avoid, and that's
Blinding
Gizmo on 3 HP. The Fire preps the flash. So now Storm just wasting in order to get their guns back online.
So long. Flashing.
One enemy remaining.
Flash is good. Fire gets a second, and Say gets another. Very good chance for Storm there to try and close out a round on this defense half, but it's Blue Lock who looks stronger and managed to win it out. So now the money for Storm not gonna be looking great. As Blue Lock now looks to extend their lead, potentially see a 12-0 half. This double duelist comp from Storm has been seeming to be a bit too non-aggressive. Which doesn't mean you'd be expecting to hear, seeing as how they're running double duelist, but since they don't have that info sentinel.
Off your feet!
Yeah, free shoulder hit the site, it's just juggle up the road. He can't even get out.
I'm out of here.
Kaiser. Now. Snag's been taken, planks down, 2v4. So 2. Now we get the shot to Inspire.
Thorns are alive.
Forces coming in with clone. Sosu managing to close out the kill. 2v3 now. The Dimension Drift is made available, but there's a wall in the way of Sosu. It's gonna be taking a while. It's gonna take you a while to get through that. If you
Blinding.
share it. It's a tree. So
Shadows traveling.
Last player standing.
Kaiser leads off of it, and he gets his 4th of the round. Blue Lock extending this lead 10-0.
Go, go, go!
Will Storm manage to find 1 round here on defense? Playing into this, playing as the double duelist team and choosing to start on. This is Blue Lock's map pick, so Storm chose to start on defense on the double duelist here. It just feels like they are lacking a bit of.
There.
Kaiser 3 KD right now. 18
I'm out of here.
Very strong.
We're good.
Blue Lock makes a walk. Makes a walk over towards Zay.
Gotta go.
Off the wall, popping out the shots. Bean keep trying to push and rotates over from Storm, but doesn't do much of anything. Viper is holding strong over towards the A site. A Storm managed to read the fake and get a 3-stack over towards C, including the Viper, including the
Cover
fake.
going out.
Flash placed.
What?
Not ready yet. Good hit.
Of noise heard over towards A by Kaiser. It's gonna mean that the spike gets pulled back over towards A, which is the weaker site. The Spire's gonna be left to try and lurk over towards C, grabbing the orb, and slowly making his way out. Storm left over towards C, spike on A. It's a stun. And Sozo can't collect on the kill. Kaiser gets the entry.
Heads up.
He is in the one-way getting shot. Sosu getting fouled by Soda over towards A main. Now it's just left his 2 Chug and Gizmo. Takes a swing. Chunked down a lot. Jug managing to finally get that kill. Okay, he's holding this angle, no fear. Punk comes out.
No
He's
escape.
gonna get down off of it. Grab that lands over towards
Last player standing.
All enemies accounted for.
In the process.
Last round before the
11-0.
switch.
Will we see the mythical 12-0 half? I think we have only seen this once before, and it was also on Lotus. So we may be seeing something here over in the, I guess, play-in? First round of playoffs in the lowers. Storm, they have the Fatal, they have the Yoral, they have these like really, really good ults for retake. They just need to have the spike go down from Blue Lock without anyone on their team.
No escape.
And Gizmo's just stuck in and gets another.
My territory.
But that
My
Nightfall is looking
rules.
rather useless. The Annihilation comes out.
I have them
And
now.
it's Zorgi as well, so all those ults that I was talking
Spike
about
planted.
are for naught. What do you do for Storm? It's a 2v5. You can't save. It's last round and a half. You've lost every retake ult that you had.
Pissed.
You even used the Omen ult. Get another.
Last
Okay,
player
don't want the
standing.
global. Haven't
One
seen Sosu
enemy
before,
remaining.
but it's Inspired closes it out. Good shots from Sosu to try and pull together a round
Switching
win
sides.
for Storm,
Match
but it's
point.
just too little too late. 12-0 half on our path. And the only way for Storm to stay in this map is to match it. He's always going 0-11, struggling so far in this first half. Find much of anything. Both duelists actually of Storm, combining for a 2-22 score line. Now on the attack, we're looking at a B start, with also some pushing over towards C.
Shocking.
Stun. And Kaiser is just running up all the way into the A lobby. Sozo has to run away, but that's a spike as well. And the amount of space that Blue Lock has this early, there's 3 people flanking.
There.
They're alive.
Now they're just running over towards the Steam out area. There's a wall in the way of Storm. They never could spawn. And get Sosu. Sozo managed to get the kill. Zorky finding a pick over towards B, and all of a sudden the last 3 flankers left without any danger. He got his first kill just now. Now Storm picking
Go,
up
go,
that
go.
A side, doing it the full. Sozo has done the full world tour and has begun in A lobby, went through
Spike planted.
B main, into C, into mount, into C, through water, all the way through to the defender spawn, and then planted on A with the spike. Left alone above with
Idiots.
That's Kaiser's with 1 shot. But Thori now grabbed, can't get his TP out fast enough, so Shido gets that kill, 3v2. For Storm. Will we see the 13-0 or will Storm manage to put him on the board?
Last player standing.
Sight, Say gets chunked down by Sozo and Gizmo gets the last. Storm winning the second pistol round. And I'm sure their VC is ecstatic as words are being shared and potentially exchanged. But what can they achieve continuing into this? There needs to be follow-ups. There needs to be 11 more rounds in a row to at least see the overtime.
Good hit. Blast trap destroyed.
And Amon
Drones are alive.
on the clone using the second one as well, which means that Gizmo satchels in, gets stunned, and manages to get a spiral for the stun goes out. Smokes are beginning to be placed down.
Nightmare's over.
One enemy remaining. Spike down. C.
Stay getting 2 here. Not good, but it's very expensive. 3 players dying. Zorgi. Quite astute, has avoided pie. He did hit the reverse pie though, so I wouldn't be too happy if I was him. But hey, you know, small victories for. But now, Storm, they need to win this bonus round. They need to start trying to build something. They are saving money. Did they forget that the enemy team is on 12, going into this round with 3 pistols? Scratching my head at the decision to not buy. If I'm Storm here, I'm trying to force every round. I'm going to make sure I win as many rounds as possible. Make sure this map isn't a foregone conclusion, and at least something that's going to be competitive. Who knows? Maybe they're just trying to speedrun their way out of the tournament, out of the league. Shido jump peeking does spot multiple times. It's a 4-man face from Storm, only getting a little bit of damage on the Shido. Only managing to build up another stun. But the self-smoke on towards A, as well as the boom bot. Sozo attempting to bait a Vise wall, but it isn't on C, it's over towards B. Storm now just pivoting over towards B through breakable. It's one in heaven and one over towards C link. What can be done here? Well, Kaiser turbo feed.
30 seconds left.
He's forced to back out. Now it's Soda.
Anyone else?
Going to get one with a Guardian. It's Cheeto, but Kaiser's there and ready. Can't be taken. Kaiser's forced back.
Cover going out.
So it finds Gizmo. So it's left on classic. Disadvantage of the other. Now,
One enemy remaining.
house. Kaiser gets another, and now it's left to a classic and a 1v4 in the post. Getting. And that's Blue Lock.
Defenders win.
So map 1, 13-2. And ideally, something to look forward to in map 2 with Storm's map pick onto Sunset. Hopefully we see something better, and we'll see you guys after this short break. right, welcome back to map 2 of Sunset. Blue Lock versus CSK Storm. The last map was truly something. We saw Storm go down 12-0.5, win the first 2 rounds, and then lose the third because they refused to buy, which of course losing that third round in the second half means they lost the game because they went down 12-0 in the first place. Now going into Sunset, the team comp from Blue Lock seems pretty apparent. We are seeing we're going to be seeing a Waylay, as well as maybe perhaps a breach KO, which I haven't seen since Fracture was in the map pool during the chamber meta back in 2022, which is quite interesting. Meanwhile, for Storm, they're still trying to figure out their comp. If we see a Tejo, I may just leave the call. Because I think, as everyone watching at home has seen before, Tejo is not that good right now, especially after he got nerfed. So if we see a solo Tejo initiator instead of perhaps a Sova or even a Fade, you may return to no casters. As no, we are seeing everything return to normalcy. Thank God. But still, it's still a Harbor on Sunset, which is an interesting pick to say the least. I think a Viper would just be a lot easier to work with because it gives you the more constant lurks as well as the deterrence that a Harbor tends to have. But who knows? I'm not the one playing. But it does seem that Storm has yet to learn from their mistakes from the rest of their games, in that having a solo breach with no info is not great. So we'll see where this takes us. As Storm, once again, are loading in, starting on the defense. As Kaiser playing the Waylay, which we know that he likes playing
Yes, the gut goes there.
the Neon a lot, and Sunset's a very
this
good
is a
Neon
nice
map,
spot.
so it'll be very interesting
This goes here.
to watch Sozo set up their util. It's down. Both these teams, I mean, this is Storm's map pick, so we are expecting more than 2 rounds, and maybe perhaps even a round in the first half. That may be something to look forward to if you're a fan of Storm, of CSK Storm. So high tide roll in over towards mid, kill knife to counter. Kaiser moves in over towards that B, moves over towards B main with that fault line. The Sozo is now left alone on the B site. There's 4 people in B main right now. As we have Gizmo over in Market and Sozo over towards B. It seems like the util is set up for... Okay, can we please spectate Zorgi? I received inside info that I believe Stream may like. There we go. What a wonderful crosshair from Zorgi. Truly locked in and focusing. Amazing. We do see another high tide coming over towards mid. 17 is out, but Spike's because of OD. Kaiser gets picked off. Spike gets canceled, and so does Blue Lock's hit, and they're all running away. But I think Gizmo would have heard the couple of footsteps. So yeah, no one else let out over towards B.
No,
Finally gets to pick over onto Sosu
30
in
seconds
mid.
left.
But Jug is still in top mid. Zorgi and Jug can make their ways over towards the A site right now, just to try to stop the plan. But no, perhaps gonna be a bit too late. Zorgi moves way into back site. He does not have an aftershock to stop the plant with, as he chose to buy a ghost and a flash.
10
And
seconds
that's why
left.
buying Ghost and Flash does not seem to
Spike
work out very
planted.
well. So now Storm left in a 3v4 after previously being in a 5v4. KO knife from Shido doesn't spot on anything. As all of Blue Lock is left in some fairly comfortable positions. The Cascade blocking off the A main angle for a little bit as Soda holds next to it. Jug keeping an eye in case someone tries to swing through. Another one.
One
But
enemy remaining.
Soda doesn't manage to get the kill on the Gizmo, but Spark gets the final blow. Jug now just left alone. 1v3, managed to get 1. Shot's looking clean. Spire's up very low right now, but Jug just barely even has any time to get to the bomb. And Shido, with a jumping classic right click, gets Blue Lock the first round of the match, or of the second map. Up now 1-0. is, so far at least, a repeat of the first map. But this pistol round, I believe, was a lot closer than the first Lotus round. So who knows? Storm may be able to figure out some of these flaws earlier and be able to find fixes, like keeping an eye on mid almost constantly. Mid is a very important part of Sunset. BLU20 finds 3 from top mid. Wait, the high tide goes mid, and then Storm want to push through it. Gizmo's nade does a decent amount of damage. Kaiser now left with the Guardian. Gale Flash comes in from Zorgi. Breach Flash comes in from Zorgi. Gizmo finds Shido with that classic. Soda gets the second and gets the third. Left the Jug and Gizmo now in the 2v4. Kaiser is very low. Aspire's managed to make his way all the way on the A site, already in top mid. And this should be 2 free kills on a Gizmo and Jug, depending as long as the Aspire doesn't whiff. Oh, he's whipping. But managed to get the kill. Kills. Zorgi does, or Gizmo does manage to find 1 at least. It's Kaiser attempted to ferry the gun over towards Aspire, but wasn't quite fast enough. But Zorgi not stopping off the crosshair. He is committed to this. Can we just get like a full round from Zorgi's PLV here? I want to see how he uses this crosshair. Because it does seem that Blue Lock wanted to go over towards A, which is where Zorgi is playing. But he is playing without anybody in elbow, which means that if Blue Lock manages to just bypass the util, they are able to just get into elbow. But Kaiser chooses to prioritize going towards main, and Blue Lock has so many flashes and so much util that's going to be near impossible to stay on the site. The Saturate does land to Zorgi. But overall, left unafraid. So Blue Lock hasn't even began to think about pushing over towards that elbow area. Just no thoughts about it, just holding. Did not want to try to take that space just yet. In fact, they're just going to continue going over towards A main. Shido choosing to back away. As Zorgi decides to work up here, ADSing on the angle, potentially just to make the crosshair smaller so he can see Soda better. But Soda jiggling. I don't know if anyone's seen each other. Zorgi saw Soda, but I don't think Soda saw him. As Kaiser, he just walks up elbow. Gets a free kill on a Sosu who wasn't looking. Zorgi's forcing him back into A Link. Storm is left in a 4v5 retake without smokes. Aspire's still in mid. Soda swinging back out. Zorgi gets the kill. Managed to make this crosshair at least worth something. Still has both flashes left though. Always uses them on the retake. He has April is left in this Vandal. And is able to find Kaiser. And Aspire's already on top mid. Shido finds Gizmo who's satched over the top. Sozo gets Shido, but it's not enough. And that is Blue Lock getting the 3rd round, winning the bonus. I apologize to the viewers for having to look at that crosshair for an entire round. But Storm, it feels like Storm is unaware of the gaps they're leaving on the map so far. Sozo was not aware that elbow was open for the entirety of that round. And Zorgi, unaware that his crosshair may not be that good. B-main being taken by Blue Lock. They're using a lot of util here early because they have a lot more util to just take the site with. Aspire gets
I know
early.
exactly where you are.
Perhaps not the person you want to be fighting aim. You want to have to be fighting A main solo. Because now that's the breach util gone. That's all the initiator util gone. No real way to take fights instead of just swinging. Now for Storm. Shido swings into 2. People with sheriffs ends up getting chunked down and dies. Now Kaiser carrying the spike over towards B main. He has the NRG buddy. Hopefully he's able to have his team do better than NRG did. At least during VCC just now, so far. As Storm move away from B side. Bringing this top mid trip has forced 4 people from Storm to back off of their sites to just hold top mid. Smokes lands, Kaiser dashes out, and now Storm have realized that top mid was not much of an issue. It was just the trip being broken.
Spike planted.
Jug high tides through mid again. Super cautious about this Aspire lurk, but Aspire's just in market right now. Now he's been spotted. He's not lurk anymore, but Sozo's already dead from Aspire. Gizmo whipping every shot possible, manages to get the 3rd. including using
There.
the showstopper. He can get out. The bomb is open right now. Lands back sight.
I'm going in.
Do not know the name of that ultimate. Jug
One
is hitting the bomb
enemy
right now.
remaining.
But Kaiser can just swing through.
Look.
Jug body blocking Kaiser so he can't see through the smoke. And CSK Storm win their first defensive round of the game. And I wish that I was kidding, but no. Storm so far 1 in 15 on defensive rounds. Just gonna let that sit for a little bit longer. All right, moving on. Storm,
There.
they did good to at least double up and like take fights together, which eventually is what won them the round. Jug managing to hit the fuse there was pretty nice. But Gizmo decided not to kill before the short term. Zorgi going to bring the knife early, but Sosu getting full flashed by the KO flash drive. Now leaves Zorgi alone on site. Jug refusing to leave from his post. KO Knife sees nothing on the
Don't miss
site,
it
and it
too
looks like
much.
Storm just decided to play retake on A. Zorgi's tucked and Jug is one-wayed. But they have that Armageddon ready, and it does come out. That's Gizmo sashing out on a site, taking full advantage of the movement being forced. Aspire breaks the top mid-trip. That should have been gone combat at some point, right? Yeah, there we go, there we go. You hear
One
him.
enemy remaining.
Gizmo holding. Spots him four times now. Backing away from the fight, just buying time for Sosu to get the defuse. The defuse comes in. There we go. Storm winning their second defensive round. Trying to lower this lead from Blue Lock. Trying to make it their own. Now Storm, within 5 rounds, matching what they were able to do within 15 on Lotus. Truly something incredible. You must watch and see more. So now, what will we see from Storm? It's the same high tide in mid right now to block off a fight from Kyle block mid. Blue breaking that market door that got closed off rip. Gizmo just full fighting this main progression. Gets Kaiser. Gets straight out by Say though. And now Storm not even attempting to move. Zorgi and Sosu double posted up there in a main. Gizmo talking more shit. Do that when your team isn't losing. As now it's just quiet. Blue Lock playing a very, very slow round so far.
Cage triggered.
So now they're making their way over towards the B site. Jug just having Harbor Wall dead earlier. There's no trip ready on site. There's no top mid. Gave away the B split. So let's KO. Spire still in mid. Jug not managing to land the shot. Swings out towards the B site. Sees none. He's one and then manages to survive.
30
Holding
seconds
mid,
left.
Aspire has backed out over towards bottom mid and is ready to make his way back into this mid re-aggression. But Zorgi is fully clearing it out. He's checking every single possible angle. But I don't know if he's realized that Spike is down. Sozo, ready to take his 1v1 against Soda. Doesn't realize that he's out in the open. Takes a lot of damage and is now going to be getting paranoia. I believe it also hits Sosu. We don't like having two players that went in together, especially with a guy named Soda. Zorgi makes it up at the back site. Just realized that there was somebody there. Jug in his cove. Starts the fuse. Gets reach-holded. Say getting 3 in the round so
One
far.
enemy
Jug gets
remaining.
1, gets 2. There's one more marking. He just spotted him.
Last player standing.
Gets the half. Aspire just to swing out and gets the shot onto Jug.
Always play high.
It was looking so doable. Storm finding a man advantage situation in a 2v1. But not managing to close it out. Does force out the breach ult though.
Yes,
As well as a
this
K
should
ult, at
go.
least got to the site. Storm having used no ultimates that round. Now have a breach ult ready to try and retake on one of the sites. As well as a Armageddon and Showstopper
That
in the
goes
near
there.
future. Spire right now, 2 and 10
This is a nice spot.
on a roll so far.
This goes here.
Especially on these lurks. He's been getting a lot of value in the late rounds on the lurk, which isn't where you normally would be seeing them. Now Storm, hard aggression in A. Zorgi with a shorty right behind the Cascade. Will he swing through? Yes, he does. One with the help of Gizmo, who has the Sheriff. High tide lands in mid a bit late, which means, and without a trip in top mid, Jug, he gets spot for the KO, and Kaiser gets both. Zorgi has just tanked a Cypher trip twice with a
Slowing them
shorty, not
down.
choosing to break it whatsoever.
One
Sozo,
enemy
still in
remaining.
main, does
My
not
ultimate
spot
is ready.
Kaiser whatsoever, and now it's all left to Sozo in a 1v4, 1v5 even, as Blue Lock has taken minimal damage. What can Sozo get done? Reminder: this man won the last season. He's on the team that won. He's just been spotted out. Will he manage to get something done here? And it looks like, barring something absolutely ridiculous, he will be choosing to die to the bomb. Ula running away. All but guaranteeing their 5th round. As it feels like Storm's decision to run a solo breach is evident, or is the flaws in running a solo breach is becoming evident for Storm. They have no info. Even if they pushed up A, the top mid is all of a sudden left very empty. As Kaiser and Shido just took full advantage of the space that was available to them and just killed everybody. Now it's left to Storm to try and plug up these holes. Sozo is left over on the B site by themselves. Not a care in the world from the rest of CSK Storm, but who knows? Maybe they have the reads, as all 5 players from Blue Log are the same name. Open Blind, Kale Flash, Breach Stun, all coming out. As Gizmo is left alone in elbow, but it's an Open Blind and a Breach Stun forces all of Blue Log back. Sosu and Gizmo get their pigs and manage to get out. It's a 5v3 now, so maybe I'll just shut my trap. Blue Lock is just left shell-shocked. They have barely any map control. They have no idea what's happening over towards mid. All they know is that they just got destroyed over an A main. As they decide to just walk up and group up and walk up for their reclear. So they don't spot anybody from Storm. But it looks like Zorgi is ready to swing again. No, choosing to back up. Just holding this main angle from afar. Gizmo has gone from front elbow all the way into CT. He is ready for the next round and ready to respawn. He has no real way to get out of this situation here outside of just running away. It's timing, and all 3 players from Blue Lock.
30 seconds left.
Because they have no DS fighters there, but just do his cam so they know all 3 are here. Say gets spotted up by Sosu and gets killed. Will we see the Rolling Thunder be used by Zorgi, or will he attempt to save the ult? Over to his default, Aspire Gate, spam for the box. Doesn't quite die.
I know exactly.
Aspire gets the kill,
Spike
pops the
planted.
dual theft. And it's getting dangerous. Will's going to
Camera
use
taken
Rolling
out.
Thunder. He pops the flash, he has the Rolling Thunder out, and he uses it. In the process, team stunning his
Last player
stunning his
standing.
teammate. But it doesn't matter, they get the kills, they get the round. They manage to close out their 3rd defensive round. Marking a new record for CSK Storm this match, winning more than 2 rounds in a game. Absolutely incredible. And these are the playoffs. This is the riveting experience of a playoffs that you are surely not you're sure not to find anywhere else, from maybe when you watch MIBR play internationally. But now, Storm with 4 ultimates here. They're ready to play a retake somewhere. Kaiser, though, with the Waylay ultimate. That's what it's called. Convergent Paths. That's an interesting name. It makes sense with the whole, timeline splitting idea.
Don't miss me
Right,
too
that was
much.
Waylay. But now Kaiser just making his way over towards Market. Sozo getting stunned and getting killed. Yeah, no trip in Market as Shido gets on the Jug.
Hitting the brakes.
And Storm, once again, are left with nothing but their own thoughts. Which I'm not sure of how many there are. And best case scenario, Storm managed to keep these 2 guns into the next round to potentially shoot people with.
I must wait
But it looks like
alone.
Zorgi wants to go for this 2v5 retake. And what will he find? He looks at spawn. Does not see Aspire.
Gotcha.
Yes, Kaiser though, still wary of Aspire, who is currently in market. The Zorgi might have seen Aspire run into the attacker spawn earlier in the round. That would make sense. Gizmo goes to clear the attacker spawn. And as sure as I am of him finding nothing, Blue Log decide they want no business of anybody anywhere and decide to social distance themselves away from Storm and go into the defender spawn. And they get their 6th round. Absolutely incredible what difference a single chip in market could have made on potentially one of the most common sunset strats, which is get a breach in a B main, stun market, and then take market.
That goes there.
Now will Sozo make an adjustment? There's another triple top mid, I would presume. And there it is. Now, will Sozo realize that they have been playing alone on B the entirety of the game, and Blue Lock has
This is
been
a nice spot.
absolutely demolishing any type of a site hold? No. Choosing to just do the exact same trip, the very exact same trip, just to put a cam deeper to be made for a little bit of earlier info. But now, we see 4 people from Storm in A main, walking up, taking a fight. Zorgi, I think they can see his gun. He breaks the trip, and he waits. Surely Blue Lock will clear him out. But no, Zorgi just backs up all the way over towards A main. And it looks like Blue Lock are going for nearly the exact same strat once again, which is a market play. But there's actually no one going into market. Just some forced util, some smokes from Storm, and a person moving over to the B site. But there's actually still 3 people in the main ready to fight as Kaiser gets Gizmo immediately because Gizmo had no way out. The next closest player on Storm is in A Link. So now, what will Storm do to try and keep the site defended? Or will they even choose to keep the site defended? As Sozo gets one. As the conversion paths are used on A, Zorgi gets Kaiser.
30 seconds left.
And now everything looks utterly awful, as neither team knows what they're doing or what the enemy team is doing. As Jug is playing on the B site right now, waiting for Say to make their way over onto the site. Jug does get the site, is still not ready for it, of course, or unfortunately, and Say gets the kill.
10 seconds left.
Now Zorgi uses the
Spike
aftershock to clear
planted.
out market,
Stealing sight.
as the entirety of Blue Lock has ran over into B
Cover
main.
going out. Not ready
The
yet.
bomb gets smoked. Will Sosu manage to be able to manage
Off
to
your
stick?
feet!
Rachel. This happened last time.
Last player
Fortunately for
standing.
Sosu, Blue Lock know where they might be hiding. So now Storm lose a 7th round on defense, and they have yet to plug up their hole in market. Now Trick's calling a timeout, and Trick is on my team. So maybe, just maybe, we'll be seeing something. Perhaps a fix to this market hold. Or just a fix towards the B side in general, because we've been seeing nothing being changed over towards B for the majority of the game. It feels like Storm have been hardly adapting from their initial game plan of put pressure mid by trying to not let Blue Lock take mid, and then fight A. Who knows? We may see it. We may see the mid fight that we saw from the eco round again on another eco round. We'll never know. But hopefully we see something interesting. Timeout dwindles down. Tricked, who is not a coach, he is just coaching Storm for this game because I'm pretty sure he thought it'd be funny. So if you look at the leaderboard right now, Gizmo managing to be positive as Zorgi is in a close second. But if we look over at Blue Lock, they have quite a lot of kills, especially Aspire, who's been absolutely having no fear when lurking over towards mid. Which is an incredible thing to say when you're playing against the Harbor comp and a raise. With market door getting closed by Storm, it looks as if the only change in this defense was to move Jug over towards market and do the exact same wall again. Absolutely incredible. and never before seen. Smoke does land in tiles now. Blue lock, pop the cage and make the way over towards B main. Jug jump spotting mid right now. Zozo spots out 2 in B main with the cam. And we see nothing of a rotate come out so far. Kaiser grabbing the B main orb. Storm still gets positions over towards
There.
mid and A. Now beginning to move over as I eat my words and my hat.
There.
Kaiser attempting to make his way over towards main. It's gonna be very difficult to get out.
Gonna fall
against
30
this,
seconds left.
Harbor wall. With that double dash out and the recall, last space being taken and information
Slowing them
grab
down.
as Sosu gets killed by Shido. Jug, one second timing here, gets one.
Spike planted.
Doesn't aggress for more, which means Spike gets planted, even though Sei gets straight out by the aftershock. Sozo goes for the neural theft. They think he's not
Enemy
winnable.
remaining.
And Soda gets both from that corner. Sozo
Last
not
round
patient enough
in
to
the
wait
half.
for the Cypher ult to get the ping off. Which means that's another ult being used by Storm. With the other round behind it. A tech pause being called for reasons unknown. Never mind, no tech pause. Hope you guys enjoyed your 3-second tech pause because I didn't even know what it was for in the first place. Or was there is there an actual tech pause? I have no idea. I have no access to the cheat menu. I am just here for fun. Okay, the tech pause is over now. At least Blue Lock is ready. How do I have average ping? I don't know. My spectator. Kaiser, his ping is at 270. Are we sure about this tech pause being over? It would seem so. Kaiser, truly resilient, ready to push through anything, including ping that would imply that he's playing from Mars. We'll have to begin over towards B main, over towards A. And yeah, we're seeing the same wall, but this time Sosu is pushed up into this mid corner. Harbor wall falls. Flurry of pings come out towards the mid from Storm. As Sosu, indecisive on whether or not to use util, with aftershock into the corner and Sei gets both of them to land. Sosu not even ready to get out of that corner. Jug now able to find the shots on the Kaiser. Sosu left alone in market, falls victim to the exact same stunning market fight. This time, Kaiser not able to get the kill, and Sozo with a cosmetic stun. Sei hit by the Cypher trip, and Gizmo with a
Spike
cosmetic
planted.
raise ult. An incredible Rosa that will be gonna be lost to the ages. Sei pushed me up by those paint shells.
Here.
As the util from Storm has been great so far.
Last
Block
player
goes a bit too
standing.
high,
One
and Sozo
enemy
not
remaining.
able to get the ace in order to win the round. Storm with only 3 rounds on this defensive half. They're going to be able to pull
Switching
off something
sides.
amazing on the attack. This has truly been a match
This
for the
goes
ages.
here.
We have no idea who's going to win, but hopefully it's going to be something interesting. Because Storm, with this Harbor, have not been able to prove why they wouldn't just play a fade, or something of the sort.
Yes, this should do.
But who knows? Maybe they know more than I do.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
In fact, I'd hope they know more than I do, because right now the doubts are flowing.
This goes here.
Good luck.
That
Has
goes
managed
there.
to simply look consistent enough to win. As now. Storm. Taking full game control. Zori gets both team players on site. Unfortunately, our observer has to step out to take their dog for a walk, so we won't be seeing any other POVs except for Kaisers for the foreseeable future. As Sosu has disconnected.
Nice and slow now.
Jug managed to get the spike at least. There was a high tide to land in Boba to slow down to prevent the
Spike
retake.
planted.
Gonna fall back here.
And it looks like Sozo is attempting to do his best Aspire cosplay and look through top mid. Gets
Last
one
player
and gets
standing.
bent. But Gizmo gets the trade at least. Now it's all to say in a 1v4, one of those players is secretly not here. Now say, has to be taking a high tide. Gets Jug at least. Zorky's low. There's no one in main. But Say doesn't know that. Gizmo jumps out, gets the headshot. It's a near repeat of the last game, or the last map. But at least Storm has managed to win a second pistol. And they have 3 rounds in the first place, so it's going to be possible. It's going to be doable. As a tech pause is being happening because Sosu disconnected. Will Storm manage to buy? Will they manage to figure out how they want to play this? How they want to play Valorant? Both of which are very difficult for them, as has seemed so far. We will see you guys once Sosu manages to reconnect. We're back. Alrighty, we're back after an extended technical pause. Two players having their games crash, but now we're back. A Storm, having just won the pistol round, in case you didn't remember, are now attempting to build a respectable scoreline. Blue Lock heavily stacked over towards B, making its way over towards A right now, because that Cypher Cam from top mid is getting a lot of info, and none of the A players were able to see it just yet. Chug staying around over towards B main, holding in case there's a push. Now chooses to back away. A Storm decide to go over and regroup over on towards the A site. Aspire. Very close to his trip, ends up dying.
Cage triggered.
And the closest players to the A site are now in market. Gets one, gets two. Very nice. Kaiser refracts back, looking very pretty while doing so. Now, it's a 2v4 retake on Nico. Potentially not looking that amazing for them. For Blue Lock. As now Storm realistically should be in their 5th round. And going into this next round with a pretty decent buy. It's 2 Bulldogs and a Vandal being carried over as Zorgi makes his way forward.
One enemy remaining.
Not common enough to get on the say, so she's knocked out now. But also dies to the bomb. That's a Bulldog being lost. Because Sozo is nowhere near close enough to pick it up. Perhaps a bit of a blunder by Zorgi. But in the end of the day, it's just the Bulldog being lost to the bomb.
Ah, this is a nice spot.
Now Storm going again for this mid play, but it's only Sosu once again. Scaling up behind the harbor wall. Good luck. Want no part of the behold.
My camera is
They're just giving up the
destroyed.
site entirely.
Cage triggered.
Inspiring for solo, but he's just staying on the site fighting anyway. But Shido who gets the kill. Paranoia used as well. Spike just can't get planted. It's not off control of the back site. That's safe finds Sosu. 3v5 post plant. Gizmo's low. Sosa's low too, but at least Sosa gets one, so it's a 3v4 now. Say, slowly working up the back site.
One enemy remaining.
Kills and his kills and Say with a 3k. As Blue Lock managed to get the round. Not losing that bonus, not losing their anti-bonus, which Storm did do in the first half. But now it's going to be a full buy on full buy. 3 players on Blue Lock managing to live through that last round. Now with all of them with rifles. And looking at Storm, only Zorki is going to be unable to buy a rifle. Zozo choosing to go on to the Guardian this round. Other than that, it's a fairly simple round. Very simple buy, at least. Even, some would say. Zorgi with the Sheriff choosing to be the tip of the spear over towards the B main. Spike still in attacker spawn. Zorgi crawling up through B main. Spot by the cam. Doesn't manage to break it at least. As Gizmo gets one. Onto Shido. With the KO dead, the retake's gonna be a lot more difficult because he won't have any knives to deny the utility usage in the post. Jug walls the B site. Top mid, Sosa gets the kill. Still more top mid. We're supposed to be ready for Soda there. Not quite ready, but manages to swap him out.
Blinding.
And forces out the paranoia at least. Coming in a bit too late to help out. But it doesn't matter because the A site is the end goal of Storm. Plant coming down, 3v2 post plant, but
30 seconds left.
still over towards mid.
Spike
There's a triple top
planted.
mid. So it's gonna take a while to get over Headliner's team.
Cover going out.
Fire with the cam, and Soto previously spotted top mid does lead to Doug speak about his work, but will be able to be fast enough. Especially given that there's a trip here in top mid, and Zorgi has usual out. And Zorgi swings into the 1v2, managing to put his teammate out of the main.
Last player standing. One enemy
Spire gets
remaining.
one, Jug gets a trade.
This
In a
is no
1v1,
problem.
and attempts to cove himself to spot out for info, but Aspire gets a shot up before the cove comes in. And that
My ultimate is ready.
is Blue Lock in the 11th round. And a clever play from Zorgi to choose to take a 1v2 fight off of a stun and then dying.
This goes here.
But now, what will
That
Storm
goes
do?
there.
They've been shut down on B, they've been shut down on A, and they're choosing to go back over towards B,
Yes,
B,
this should do.
and to continue doing the exact same harbor wall they've been doing for the
This is a
past
nice
4
spot.
rounds. And there it goes. They wall off market. They wall off top mid. Kaiser just walks through because there's no util behind it. No fast pressure. No fast anything. So now it's just Soda left on the B side alone as Gizmo's double satchels is in and just gets a kill for free. Zorgi
There.
now solo holding the market area.
Spike
Flash
planted.
goes in.
Slow.
Kaiser
My
gets the
ultimate is
kill.
ready.
Zorgi full flash. Nothing he can be doing there.
There.
It's 4v4 post. It's a 4v4 retake.
Fire in the hole! Slow down!
As we do
I
see
suggest you move.
the showstopper being used as the Armageddon. Gizmo gets Shido with that showstopper. The 3v4 retake is begun. Sozo turbo feeds over towards
Blasting.
over towards wherever part of the map is. As well as playing dead. Kaiser uses the
One enemy remaining.
timeline ability. Now those two left in a 1v2. Gets breach ulted. That dead body goes flying. And once again, Blue Lock managed to retake over towards B, but don't manage to get the defuse. Say, having used that breach ult was the difference maker in getting on the bomb fast enough to get the defuse off. So now the breach ult was used in B main for no effect, but also they don't win the round. Zorgi with a bit more BM. Again, once again, I would say you shouldn't BM when you are negative and your team is
There.
losing. But who knows? There's maybe some advanced mental strategy for Zorgi to get into the heads of get into the heads of the
There.
rest of the people in the league for next season. Kaiser, having survived last round, because he had the foresight to run away from the bomb in case it wasn't defused. Now has a rifle. Must be seen buying as well. It's 4v5 rifles. Aspire with the Stinger may just be able to get more done than he would with his rifle. Combat remain
down.
broken. Gizmo having worked his way up. Saturate being used by Kaiser. Forces Storm back. There is no smoke landing in top mid right now. But maybe that Storm is going to try to A split here. Through top mid and through A main. Sozo perhaps being spawned over towards A. Zorgi gets saved.
Spike
Kaiser gets the
down
trade. Both
A.
teams are losing their breach now. Let's Gizmo double satchels over towards the A side. Shido flashes through just a bit too late.
I know exactly.
As
where
Giz,
you
Soda
are.
manages to find Soda. Now Kaiser.
I'm out.
Through CT
Spike
here, stand by
planted.
the Cypher, uses the back out. Spam still gets a little bit more. As the retaliating Cypher roll being used, Cypher roll theft, means that the retake knows exactly where the attackers are. Jug
Last
with the
player
wall.
standing. One
lands on
enemy
his
remaining.
Teammates in elbow,
Almost
which
messed
means
me
that
up.
Kaiser can just dig bomb, but the wall falls early enough, and Sozo Managed to get the kill. Kaiser not able to correct in time. It's another round win for Storm. Managing to break above their... Managing to hit the average amount of rounds won per match that they had in the regular season with 5 rounds
This
per
goes
match.
here. That
They have
goes
reached
there.
their average, and now they're attempting to break past it. Will we see more? Let's hope we do. As Zorgi, once again,
Yes,
continuing to
this
dog
should go.
shit, not realizing that Storm is still losing on their own map pick. Kaiser with some aggression over towards tiles, forces Sosu to use the paranoia after only having used the refract and the dash. Storm, adamant that there's going to be some more pressure behind Kaiser in mid, deciding to fully re-clear out all the way through, aim, get a sideline into market. Cheeto, with the widest swing of all time, actually manages to get all the way over towards stage right, and stays alive to tell the tale. In fact, not even taking any damage in the process.
Shadows traveling.
Something ain't pinged there, but Gizmo gets a spire. Sosu playing on the pillar in mid. Gizmo makes his way all the way down to elbow, making as much noise as possible. And the spike is still in tiles. Undecided for
Cover
Storm
going
as
out.
to where they want to go. Sosu looking around in mid. Putting down another smoke top mid. I believe Sosu's put 3 smokes in top mid this round. Some absolutely amazing usage of those dark covers.
30 seconds
As
left.
now, Gizmo satching on site. Dating over towards CT. Kaiser ready to take it for the time counter. Jug gets stunned anyway. Cypher comes out, but it's not landing fast enough. Story gets the kill. Sosu
Spike
managed to
planted.
get one of their own. As Jug gets the plant down. Now Storm. They're beginning to build a few rounds in a row now. It's not blue lock. Should they be getting a bit worried here? It's 8-11. It should be 8-11. And Storm, they have the breach over here. Potentially getting close to an Armageddon, as well as Gizmo getting closer to a showstopper.
Last player
Dome,
standing.
so Sosa gets the kill instead. Soda gets another one to Zorgi, but Sosa gets the second. Sosu 3 out of 7 to that Cypher roll, but it's mostly the Armageddon of Jug, which he's 5 out of 7 to, and the showstopper from Gizmo, which you want to be taking a hold of, but he's also 6 out of 8 to that one. So now, timeout from Kaiser. Having lost 3 rounds in a row on 3 rounds in a row on this defense, wants to take a little bit of a pause here, a little bit of a break. Discuss with the team what they want to do, what they want to change, what they want to be improving on. Potentially taking more advantage of that mid, because Storm has rarely been putting anything behind it as well. Although for Storm, this time it also applies to them. Maybe they'll actually be putting more pressure in mid, because it's just been a harbor ball and Sosu going solo for 90% of these rounds.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
But looks like not many changes are gonna be happening. Jug in the exact same position they've been putting the harbor ball mid every round, and it would seem that the plan from Storm is to go for some market fight. Usually work up next to the harbor wall and then fight past it, fight through it. Spoolock's adjustment is just set up for a main a bit more heavily. Fight off that Cypher cam, but once the heart walls comes up and a bit of time has passed, it's just a reset back towards top mid, and they're gonna rotate over towards B.
Go get it.
Smoke's land. Top mid and market. One line comes out, doesn't hit much. Gizmo double satcheling in. Spots out Shido. Nades him 2. Shido killed by the nade. Cage lands the CD, and all of a sudden this Storm team has figured out has found their rhythm.
Spike planted.
Spoolock is gonna need to get something here. here if they want to continue through. That's a good start, getting Sosu early. Soto walking to the right side corner. Saturn comes out, but doesn't get to stay in time. Kaiser gets the kill. Douglas able to
Last player
saturate,
standing.
but isn't able to. Kaiser's able to fall up in time. Soto gets Jug. It's a 1v2. Zorgi and Gizmo left alive. Zorgi ready to use this Rolling Thunder if necessary. But builds the stun
Cover
back
going
up.
out.
Stunning against it. Stunning as soon as the smoke lands. And yeah, Soto spots both and decides against trying to get this retake done. As now Storm, 4 rounds in a row now, are managing to get their feet back beneath them. They got a bit swept. And got a bit lost when on defense, but on this attack so far, 6-2. Looking much more confident than they did previously. In the previous map, and earlier this map. BLU20 can't be underestimated. They are the higher seed going into this match in the first place. Potentially that's their plan. And it looks like we're going to see an early B main fight. As Storm are defaulting over towards A once again. KO nice spots none in B main. And it's just a 4-man walk-up B main. So spawning out in B main from a spawn. Gets Shido early. Aspire feels like he has to do something here, but chooses to back up instead. Pops the cage on himself, not realizing there's nobody else coming in behind. Kaiser gets Sosu in
Spike
mid.
down, mid.
That's Spike down? Incredible. So now it's a recovery mission for Storm. They have to get to get the Spike back. But they have no Omen smokes to do so. Soda gets one from top mid. Gizmo. Now in tiles. Kaiser swings. And as he's spotted, at least the home wall comes in to cut off these sight lines.
I have the spike.
Gizmo gets the bomb. And
I
Sozo
know
gets Kaiser over
exactly
towards
where
B,
you
and that's the
are.
Cypher ult being used. The Spire pushing up A main. It forces all of Storm over towards B.
30 seconds left.
And BLU20, they don't have much in the way of retake ults.
Spike planted.
But they do have these flashes, and they have some mutual ready. They showstopper and Armageddon that they're going to have to try to retake through. Spire coming in through Market. Managing to barely avoid Sozo in time. As he also closes the Market.
suggest
Oh my
you
wire.
Now Sozo is stuck. Gizmo's dead. That's after the Armageddon was used.
One enemy
Jug
remaining.
also dead.
One enemy remaining.
Sozo in a 1v3 gets one and gets a second. But Spire's too good. Matches it with a 3K of his own. Manages to win the round. Perhaps a bit misguided for Sozo to try and go on that lurk and then take
Match
through
point.
Marcus of going through top mid. But who knows? I'm just a caster. He is a champion in the loosest sense of the word, having won the previous season along with Blizzard. As a timeout is being called by the Storm coach. 12-9 for BLU20. It's going to take 3 rounds in a row from Storm to get to OT in the first place. Not even just to win the game, but to get into OT to have a chance of winning. What will Trick manage to come up with? What will just the entirety of Storm manage to come up with to figure out, to change, to not change? After all, they've done the same harbor wall mid for 9 rounds now. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue if they do it one more time. But who knows? Something interesting may happen. Something just may happen in general. Now, as you push to the end of the timeout, the players of Storm, at least, won't have their say in if their timeout's going to be called, because that's both of the timeouts being used by Storm, at least for regulation. There's still some OT timeouts that can be used, but it's going to take 3 more rounds in a row in the first place to at least get to that point at all. There's still the Rolling Thunder, and there's still the Showstopper, which combined should be able to at least guarantee 1 round, but
My
still
eyes are
take 2 more
down.
past that in the first place. It's going to take Storm, at least to figure out that this cam's been here almost every single round. And they did! After the cam spotted out 4 people in A main.
Cage trigger. Cage
Yeah,
trigger.
there's the open blind, there's that, there's a
They
whole lot
found
of
my
intel.
wire. They found
Just
my
giving
wire.
away the fact that the A-site hit is coming in. But it's a K-ult and a Waylay ult. Coming in on the
Spike planted.
return. There's the Waylay ult. Hits almost everybody on the site.
One enemy
Sosu, at the tail end of it, falls, and it's just a complete collapse on the site. Blue Lock winning the round, winning the map, and winning the game. In turn, knocking Storm out of playoffs.
Defenders win.
Joining the ranks of Doomsday and the Loneliest Poets. And for the entertainment, as the first teams to be eliminated from CSK Season 3. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had a great time. Hope you had a better time than I did watching this game. Come back soon for whichever game comes next. I believe it's the Biowog game, and no, not the Biowog game. It is Nightwatch versus Elgato tomorrow, which is going to be a good game because it involves some teams that know what they're doing. Thank you all, and good night. See you soon.